Hello everyone, welcome to this short video of how to interpret Sigurd-Andersen acid-base chart. As you can see here, this chart is known as Sigurd-Andersen nomogram or Sigurd-Andersen acid-base chart. Now before coming to the chart itself, let's quickly take a look at our normal values of arterial blood gas. The pH is maintained between very narrow range of 7.35 to 7.45, and for calculation and practical purposes we take average of 7.4. PCO2 levels are maintained between 35 to 45 millimeters of mercury and average is taken as 40. Bicarbonate levels are maintained between 22 to 26 milliequivalents per liter and average is taken as 24. And PaO2 levels, that is arterial oxygen levels, are maintained between 70 to 100 millimeters of mercury. Here 100 millimeters of mercury corresponds to SpO2 levels of 100%. Now on a side note, if PaO2 levels are less than 60 millimeters of mercury, which corresponds to SpO2 levels of 89%, the patient is clinically said to be in hypoxic state. Now coming to the disorder itself, we will not go into details of each and every disorder. We will just take a quick overview. As we all know, the disorders are broadly categorized into metabolic or respiratory, where in metabolic disorder, primary pathology is in bicarbonate levels, and in respiratory disorders, primary pathology is in PCO2 levels. And acidosis and alkalosis based on pH of the blood. In acidosis, the pH being less than 7.4, and in alkalosis, the pH being more than 7.4. But one thing we have to keep in mind that our body tries to compensate any alteration in pH. So pH of 7.4 does not rule out acid-base disorder. Okay, so coming to metabolic acidosis, primary pathology is in bicarbonate. So bicarbonate level will be decreased, and metabolic alkalosis, bicarbonate levels will be increased. The body will try to compensate this by increasing or decreasing our PCO2 levels by altering our respiratory rate. So in acidosis, the PCO2 levels will be decreased by increasing our respiratory rate, which will cause CO2 washout. And in metabolic alkalosis, the PCO2 levels will be increased by decreasing our respiratory rate. Coming to respiratory disorders, as you can see here, they are further classified into acute or chronic acidosis and alkalosis. So why not metabolic disorders are also classified into acute or chronic? Because compensation of metabolic disorders are by altering our PCO2 levels, by altering our respiratory rate, which can be done very rapidly within matter of minutes, even seconds. While on the other hand, the compensation for respiratory disorders is by increasing or decreasing bicarbonate levels by kidney, which may take some time. So based on the compensation is occurred or not, they are further classified into acute or chronic. So coming to acute respiratory acidosis, the primary pathology is in PCO2 levels, so it will be increased. And also in chronic respiratory acidosis, PCO2 levels will be increased. But in acute respiratory acidosis, the compensation would not have taken place, so the bicarbonate levels will be normal. While in chronic, compensate for increase in PCO2, the bicarbonate levels will also be increased. Coming to respiratory alkalosis, in both acute and chronic, PCO2 levels will be low, and for acute, compensation will not take place, while in chronic, to compensate for increase in PCO2, there will be decrease in our bicarbonate levels. So this is basically overview of metabolic and respiratory acid-base disorder. So now coming back to our Sigurd-Andersen nomogram, if we take a closer look, here we have PCO2 in arterial blood. The normal value is between 35 and 45. Here we have pH in arterial plasma. The normal value is between 7.35 and 7.45. And here we have bicarbonate concentration in plasma. The normal value is between 22 to 26. If all these values are normal, we get a central normal area in our chart. So now let's take disorders one by one. One thing we have to remember here that whenever we are tracing bicarbonate levels on this line, we have to follow these lines given here. Okay, we have to always trace parallel to these lines. Okay, so now let's take point A here. Now point A is definitely acidosis. Why? Because pH is less than 7.4 here. This is 7.4 pH. What about bicarb and PCO2 concentration? If we trace bicarb here, So it comes under normal range. Okay, so bicarbonate levels are normal. And what about PCO2? If we trace it here, it comes around 120. So PCO2 is increased. Now in our chart, which is that condition where bicarbonate levels are normal but PCO2 levels are increased. Bicarb normal, PCO2 increased, right? So this is acute respiratory acidosis. Why acute? Because bicarbonate levels are normal, bicarbonate concentration has not yet taken place. Now coming to point B. Let me take a different color here. Now point B. Again, this is definitely acidosis. What about PCO2 and bicarb concentration? We have to trace bicarb along these lines. Okay, so bicarb is less than 10, so bicarb decreased. What about PCO2? PCO2 is also less than 35, so PCO2 is also decreased. Okay, now in our chart, what is the condition where acidosis is happening along with low bicarbonate and low PCO2 levels, right? So this is metabolic acidosis. Point B is our metabolic acidosis. Now what is point C here? Again, acidosis. What about bicarb levels and PCO2 levels? Bicarb level we have to trace along these lines. So again, bicarbonate levels will be low as it is towards this side. So bicarbonate low and PCO2 also low. PCO2 is also low. So again, this is also metabolic acidosis, but more compensation has taken place. So uh, the fall in PCO is greater than point B. So as we can see here, the pH has also come, more towards the physiological pH. So point B and point C both are metabolic acidosis. Now what about point D here? Now can we say this is alkalosis because pH is more than 7.4? What about PCO2 and bicarbonate levels? PCO2 reduced, bicarbonate we have to trace it parallel to these lines. So it is normal. So bicarbonate is normal. So now in our chart, which condition has decreased PCO2? Bicarbonate normal with alkalosis, right? Decreased PCO2 normal bicarbonate with alkalosis. So this is acute respiratory alkalosis. So point D is acute because the compensation has not yet taken place. Now if we come to point E here, again we will agree that this is alkalosis because pH is more than 7.4. What about PCO2 and bicarbonate levels? PCO2 raised, bicarbonate we have to trace it parallel to these lines. Bicarbonate is also raised. Now coming back to our chart, which is condition where alkalosis is happening along with increased PCO2 and increased bicarbonate alkalosis. So our point E is metabolic alkalosis. Okay, coming to point F, it is slightly towards acidosis side. So we can say that this is acidosis. But remember, pH can also be normal. Normal pH does not rule out any acid-base disorder as compensation happens by our compensation is done by our body. Now, what about PCO2 and bicarbonate levels here? If we trace bicarbonate, so they will be more than 26. So bicarbonate levels increased. What about PCO2? PCO2 is also increased. Now, in our chart, which acidotic condition has raised PCO2 and raised bicarbonate? Acidosis, raised PCO2, raised bicarbonate. So this is chronic respiratory acidosis. Why chronic? Because compensation has taken place by increasing bicarbonate. So as you can see here, the pH is also towards normal physiological pH. Now our last point is this point G. Let me take a different color, point G. What about this point G? pH is very near to our 7.4. So let's not comment whether this is acidosis or alkalosis, but let's comment PCO2 and bicarbonate levels. So PCO2 is reduced and bicarbonate is also reduced, right? So now in conditions like this, usually we have to rely on clinical history or the value of pH which is given in the question or clinical condition of the patient. But let's say this is towards alkalosis side. So this is alkalotic condition where bicarbonate is reduced and PCO2 is also reduced. So alkalosis where bicarb is reduced, PCO2 is also reduced. So our point G is our chronic respiratory alkalosis. So this is our interpretation of Sigurd-Andersen nomogram. It is not as hard as we think it is. It is very simple. We have to just observe a few things and read carefully about the history of patient given in the question. Thank you so much.